All right, so my number 3 is Into the Fire. Bakerowitz. I mean, it's Orphan X. What more do you have to say about that one? It's his last mission, supposedly, maybe. And it's just kind of it's neat because we have all the other past Orphan X books, and we kind of had like a scaffolding built for every book after that one. This one it changed a little bit, and I really liked it because it just pushed Orphan X into to a new level and stuff, and it was just absolutely amazing. I loved it. So my number 3.
Great choice. All right, Derek, what about you?
I'm like you, Stu, but I moved him to number 3. Total Power. We all love this guy. We're all, I know everybody's read it. It's a great book. Like you were saying, it's scary if you think about it. I mean, it's not scary like, Meg Gardner, but it's a scary when you think about the situation if this happened. And I think, one of the blurbs I said about this book is, I have a hard time if the power goes out for a day or two. It's a big pain. If it went out for a year, I'd be one of the ones that, probably going a little crazy if I survived it. But it does make you want to watch some of those prepper shows on TV, making sure you get all your, packaged food and all that stuff and a lot of water. But yeah, Total Power, Vince Flynn, number 3.
Great choice. All right, Steve.
Good choice indeed. All right, I am going with Jack Carr, Savage Son. I'm certain we'll see this book pop up again here shortly from some other folks, but there's a lot of reasons to like the book. I think there's great character development for James Reese and some of the other characters around him. But this also has the best usage of a ghost pepper I've ever read in a book. And so that alone puts it in the top 3 for me.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Read the book, and you know what I'm talking about. You got to read it. You got to check it out, and then you got to let me know what you think because it's total insanity.
Total.
Jack Carr has found interesting uses for different things over the course of his series,
Yep.
and it always makes you cringe a little.
A little bit, yes.
Little.
All righty, Chris, number 3.
All right, so that's Tom the Hunt. I can't get enough of Simon Gervais. I read his Mike Walton stuff prior to him starting the Pierce Hunt series. I really enjoyed those. They were, a red dotted line and the thin black line. If you've ever seen those, the way he crafts a story is simple. It's easy to understand. He paints clear pictures. He gives you just enough details to get your mind rolling, and then let you take off from there. I love in this story how you're getting some kind of misdirection or some I don't even know what to call it at this point.
Red herrings.
Yeah, like you're getting a point where you're like trying to go do something, and you realize the whole time what you're trying to do is exactly what you don't want to be doing, or it's not what you thought it was. So definitely misdirection. Pierce Hunt's a great character. I love that his ex-wife is married to a quarterback of a football team. Just it adds a whole nother level of curiosity because a lot of the main characters we read in these books are shadow figures. You know what I mean? Like this guy is not a shadow figure. He's been out in the public. He's basically friends with the starting quarterback in the NFL. So really, really weird. But I love it. He does a great job. Can't say enough good things about him.
Great choice. Kashif, what about you?
Okay, so for my third, I chose It's All the Good Men by Craig Hooper. And what really drew me to place this book in like a third spot was I love conspiracy thrillers, and I often try to find them in literature. The only issue with that is sometimes they tend to overshadow the action. Sometimes there's like less emphasis on the action. Sometimes there's more emphasis on the action and not the story. But with this, I found there to be a great balance between a conspiracy on a grounded level that you could relate to, as well as having lots of great action. And I was immediately just drawn into it, and I think I read this in like a day because I forgot what time of day it was. I was just reading through it. So it was a great one.
Time of day. From what we were talking about before we started, it sounds like you're only awake at night though. Between That's a bad one. All right, my number 3. I had a brand new book from I guess all these are brand new books from 2020, but an author I'd never heard of, and that was S.A. Cosby's Blacktop Wasteland. This was another book that I fought with the placement. I actually, when I first wrote my list, I had it at number 1, and then I shuffled it with my top 3 quite a few times before I solidified my list. But I think the main character Beauregard is just a very interesting character. This book is just it's again different than my normal thriller taste. It's like a Fast and the Furious but on pages, and it's just straight action the entire book with the story weaved in. I thought it was great and a very big surprise to me. I've read the book, I've listened to the audiobook now, and they're both amazing. So that's my number 3 is Blacktop Wasteland. All right, coming in to the number 2s. Cool. All right, Sarah, you're number 2.
We're switching to Sarah. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't hear. I heard number 2. I'm like number 2. Who? Oh, me. All right, so we gotta have total power in every single round. So this is my number 2, Total Power, by Vince Flynn, Kyle Mills. This, what everyone's been saying, it was beyond terrifying. Anytime that power goes out, for now, when it goes out, I freak out. Like, is this the end? Is this going to be how it all goes down? But it definitely stuck up in the old noggin there for a while. So, and it's still, when anything happens, we get a little flicker of anything. Definitely scary. I loved it because it was it had the old Vince Flynn feel to it a little bit. We had that classic Kyle Mills arc. So that was just every book that he releases, I look forward to what's he going to say, what's going to happen, what's going to be the new snark. So that was just a lot of fun for that one.
Great. And I'm pretty sure we all met through the Mitch Rapp Ambassador program, correct?
Yep.
I know I met a few of you through there. Okay, it is everyone. All right. Yeah. So a shout out to James Apt and BTS Designs, the Atrium Mystery Bus as well, and of course Kyle Mills for always getting that Mitch Rapp Ambassador program going, and having us here, being able to talk to each other. It's kept me sane during the last year. All right, Derek, you're number 2.
It's been said a couple times. This is my number 2. What a great debut novel. And the only thing I think I can tag on what everybody else is saying, and it kind of goes along with Andrews and Wilson, how they write, 2 guys write from one brain, kind of like, and it sounds like one person. It was brought up on the crew reviews when they did their interview with Chris Howdy that he writes from the woman's point of view, and you don't think this is a guy writing from a woman's point of view. Totally believable. And I think that might be because, he's had the screenwriting experience doing that. But I mean, what a great character, Haley Chill. I mean, she's badass, unassuming, but she is just awesome. And the twist, like Steve was saying, probably one of the best I've read in a long time in a book. So that's my number 2.
That's a great one. I'm sure we'll probably see that book again. All right, Steve, you're number 2.
Got something completely different. No, just kidding. Total Power, Vince Flynn. Had it a bunch of times on here. I don't know what else to add. It freaked me the hell out. I mean, I think what made it great is it was immersive. It made me, and I think all of you said the same thing, think what it would be like to be in a power outage like that. And I realized I would not survive. So, I think Derek said he started, listening to those prepper podcasts and stuff. I started, getting bottled water and flashlights and batteries and putting some cash in the house just in case. Like, I'm like, I got to do something because this could
You
totally.
got cash in your house? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's buried in the backyard. You cannot. I'm just kidding. You know, it was just different, right? I think it felt so real and so immersive that you put yourself in the book, and not in a good way. So you know, I think it's anytime you feel like you're able to live what's happening to characters in the book, it's a sign of a, you know, a great author. And so Total Power number 2.
Nice. All right, Chris.
All right, so you could see it, Deep State right here, Chris Howdy. Great book. Haley Chill's a phenomenal character. I think she was a very strong independent female character that I haven't seen in a while, right? I read a lot of military political thrillers. I think that Howdy is able to show us that, you know, you can really put your mind to whatever you want to do when you grow up, you know, from a, I don't want to say less fortunate, but a smaller populated area in West Virginia, to enlisted army, to serving in the White House, you know, as an intern. And then the twist obviously blew me away. Couldn't believe it. And I think this is what the genre needed. I think that those political conspiracy, even sometimes military thrillers, are all male dominated. And this was extremely easy to read. Like Derek said, I think his as a screenwriter, being able to use his experience made this one very smooth, very seamless. And one of the things that I like about his writing, and I talked to Todd about this offline before, is how he kind of flashes forward with characters that he looks like he's going to get rid of. You know, they're like, he would go on to do this, or he would do this. And he kind of leads you down a path that way, because you know this character is going away now. You know where it's going. It's not, will he pop back up and something else happen? So I think it's unique and creative and great book.
All right, Kashif, you're number 2.
My number 2 was 1 Minute Out by Mark Greaney. And of course, it goes without saying I'm a huge Gray Man fan. I love the action in it. It's spectacular. But this time I felt the material was a bit darker than his usual work, going into sex trafficking rings and uncovering them. And it was just a great insight, the first person point of view that we don't usually see in Gray Man books. It was a huge game changer for me, because it allowed us to see through the mind of a really great but kind of twisted protagonist that we have, Gray Man. Just the way he perceives the violence and how he inflicts it. And of course, he is a very, I would say, witty and a kind of a sassy character in his thoughts. So again, it was a really great approach to a character that we've seen a lot, but this time it was a bit more of a vulnerable side to him, even though he retains all his badassness. So yeah.
Definitely a great choice, a very good choice. I also have 1 Minute Out by Mark Greaney as my number 2. And Kashif basically just stole everything I was going to say. Well, I think for me, one of the biggest points was that first person point of view. And I know there were mixed reviews about that. I thought it was genius. And I imagine it must be such a challenge to be writing that third person point of view for so long, and then switch and do kind of what we see Brad Taylor do and switch in and out of it. But we got to see almost the inner workings of Court Gentry's mind. And it was funny. Like you said, it was sassy, and it was just it was a fun look into how the Gray Man operates. So I also had 1 Minute Out for my number 2.